Hello my soapy friends. It's Kevin with Divinely Designed, and we have a soap video. So, I haven't made a video in a little while. I was kind of busy with my job. I've been traveling for work, so I've been away. Somebody posted on my channel, "Are you still making videos?" Yes, I am, but you know, my real life gets in the way of my soapy world sometimes. So, okay. So this is going to be an all-natural soap. Now, all-natural doesn't really have any meaning out there. There's no government definition of what natural is or anything like that. When I say all-natural, and this is how I sort of define it on my website as well, is that this soap is made with no fragrance oils and no artificial colors. It is, the colors that I'm going to use are plant-based, and the fragrance I am using is essential oil based. So that's what I mean when I say an all-natural soap. Because of course I'm still using sodium hydroxide, you know, for the lye. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. Okay, so anyway, this is going to be an all-natural soap. Let's go over the recipe. I have, for my oils, 454 grams of olive oil pomace, 283 grams of 76-degree coconut oil, 227 grams of cocoa butter, 227 grams of shea butter, 170 grams of castor oil. I have for my lye water 517 grams of water and 185 grams of lye. For my fragrance, I'm going to be using a custom blend of essential oils. These are all from New Directions, but this is a mixture. And so I have lemongrass, cedarwood, eucalyptus, white grapefruit, dark patchouli, and peppermint essential oils in this mixture. So now, this is just something I mix up myself. It's a masculine scent, I would say. The peppermint really comes through kind of very top, but it has a nice citrus note to it. And then you get the patchouli and the cedarwood sort of at the base notes. So I don't have a good name for this yet. I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to see what the soap sort of turns out in terms of colors. I'll give you the amounts here just in case you're interested. But so for the lemongrass, cedarwood, eucalyptus, and white grapefruit, that was 13 grams apiece. The dark patchouli and the peppermint were 7 grams apiece. Okay. For colors, I'm going to be using some natural colors. And if you can see over here, I have them pre-mixed in some water. Usually I mix them in oils, and I've tried that a little bit before, but I haven't tried mixing them in water, so I want to see how this goes. But I want to do a yellow base soap, and I'm going to be using turmeric for that. You can see it comes as a powder. Okay. I'm going to be doing some swirls with blue, purple, and red, and I'll be using Woad for the blue, Woad, Ratanjot for the red, and Indigo for the purple. Now I'm using something called pre-reduced crystals. So now I've never really used this, and as you can see, I got it from Soaper's Resource Co-op, which is a Facebook group that I belong to, and it's fantastic. And Kendra Coate, thank you so much for all of your hard work for doing these co-ops. But I've never used this before, and I've heard mixing it in water does really well. And that's why I started with the water. So we're going to see how that went. So the powders and the crystals, I mixed in some water. I used my little frother, and I mixed them all up. And they're sitting here just waiting. Okay. I have some additives. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of chamomile powder and a teaspoon of Fuller's Earth. Okay. I'm going to be using my tall and skinny mold, and I think we'll do a drop swirl. We'll see how it goes. All right? All right, enough explanation. Let's get going into the oils. Oh, I didn't check my temperatures. I know everything's really cool because I keep things pretty cool. Okay, so my lye water is around 70 and my oils are around 90. All right. Here we go, lye water and my oils. I'm going to add my powders, my Fuller's Earth and my chamomile powder now also. Just so I can get those mixed up. And I think we'll mix in the fragrance now as well too. We'll do everything all at once. All right, stick blender. Now the chamomile powder is kind of green. The Fuller's Earth is kind of tan. It doesn't give a lot of color, but the chamomile powder can give a little bit of a color. So you can see it's not that typical light tan. It's a little bit darker than just plain soap. And I think like the chamomile and the Fuller's Earth both, they tend to make it go a little bit gray, actually. Okay. So just be aware of that when you're using those, I think, because it could affect your colors. Okay, this is nice and loose. I don't see any oil on top. Whoop. Okay, I think that's good because I'm gonna mix it when I put the colors in a little bit also. All right, so my base I'm gonna keep yellow, and I'm gonna do some swirls with the 3 other colors. I'm not gonna use a ton of colors, for the swirls, so not a lot of soap. I'm gonna do some nice sort of wispy swirls, I think. We'll see how that goes. And these colors, I haven't really used the natural colors that much, so we'll see. We'll see how this all goes here in a second. Okay. All right, so into let me get a little spoon. A little stick here, that would be good. Into my big batch, I'm going to give my turmeric. Just want to mix that up a little bit. Okay. And I'm not going to add a lot of this at first. We'll see how this goes. So this is Woad. Just going to try a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than that. Okay. This is the Ratanjot. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. And this one did not mix very well in the water, so it's kind of just floating on the water. All right, so we'll see how that goes. A little bit of that, and this indigo. So the one thing I learned about the indigo already is, if you're mixing up your indigo, wear gloves, because you get that little bit of, even a little bit of liquid on you, and it is like you have spilled an ink pen all over you, and it doesn't come off. It's really hard to get off. Alright, so let me do yellow first. Now the turmeric also has a bit of an odor to it, and it's sort of like curry, like Indian curry. Not that strong, but it has that sort of essence of that color. So, alright, that's a beautiful color. It's much more orangey than I sort of expected. I probably could have used a lot less. Okay. So that's the turmeric. Now I'll go to the Ratanjot. Okay. This is kind of gray. I just added a little bit more. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's much more purpley than red. Alright, now we'll go to the Woad. And Woad makes a very nice blue. I've seen people use Woad. I'm going to put a little more in here. Now, I am increasing the amount of water in my soap a little bit because my colorants are mixed in water. Now, it's not a lot, but do keep that in mind, I suppose. This soap might need to cure a little bit longer. Okay. Well, it's not super blue. It's a pale bluish. Alright, and let's do the indigo. Ooh, wow. This is turning bright green. That's interesting. Okay. Well. That's like an emerald green. I don't know if you can see it, but alrighty. Well, we'll try. We'll see how this goes. So I'm using my tall and skinny mold that I made. I have this clip here. I was hoping it would keep it up, but it's not cooperating. Okay. So let's do it in the. We'll do a drop swirl. So I'll use about half of my yellow. And then this is the Woad. Okay. And the Ratanjot. And the indigo. Okay. Back to my yellow. Ooh. I'm making a mess. Okay. Back to the Woad. All right. I think I'm going to try and keep the top just a solid yellow. So I'm not saving any of this for the top portion. This is the Ratanjot. Okay. All right, and finally the Indigo. I'm excited to see how this color will eventually end up, because it's like this sort of emeraldy green right now, which is cool. Oh, you know, it's actually turning much more blue. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can turn it around a little bit. So it was very bright green just a few seconds ago, but it seems to be getting much more of that indigo color that I sort of was thinking of. Okay, it's staying nice and loose, so that's good. Just getting the last little soap out here. All right, and then I'm just going to try and keep the top yellow. So I'm just pouring this onto my spatula so I don't sort of break through the top. Okay, almost done. So I said that I started to say the turmeric has its own kind of smell to it, the turmeric powder, and most people are probably familiar with that. The turmeric's sort of, you know, in a lot of kitchens. But the Woad, and the Ratanjot also have a little bit of a smell. The one I was most surprised by, actually, is the Indigo. It has, I don't even know how to describe it. To me, it smells a little bit like an aquarium. It has, I don't know, it has sort of a fishy smell. Okay. So no fancy top or anything, just going to keep it nice and plain. And I'm going to give it a tap here just to smooth things out after I clean up some of my mess. I need to get something for the end here. Okay. Well, it didn't really want to smooth out there. It's firming up a little bit. So I'm just going to try and even this out just a little bit here. And you know what? I might try to do a little swirl on the top here. Let's see what I have left from my Woad. I mean, from my Indigo. Okay. See if I can get a little bit of a line here. Okay. Alright, let's do maybe a little just quick design here. Okay, that's fun. Let's leave that there. Okay, so there we go. So an all-natural soap using only essential oils and colorants from plants. Turmeric, Ratanjot, Woad, pre-reduced indigo crystals, and some chamomile powder, Fuller's Earth, and then a whole bunch of different kinds of essential oils, a custom blend for that. So, all right, folks, stick around. After the break should be the unmolding and cutting of this. Oh, and I need a good name, so start thinking of names for this soap. Okay, folks, here we are with the unmolding and cutting of my all-natural soap made with some plant powders used for colorants and essential oils for fragrance. And let's see. I put this in the fridge overnight and then took it out this morning, and it's almost exactly, I want to say 24 hours since I made it. Okay. Just move this out of the way here. It smells really good. So you can see the top has turned a much more pale yellow. So it was sort of bright orange yesterday. That indigo, that was the swirl on top, is very blue. Looks pretty good against the yellow. And the turmeric, you can see those little orange spots. You know, that's part of where the turmeric didn't sort of get mixed together. I don't know if you can see, I have a little bit of it, looks like a partial gel. Not much of one, but... And I will tell you, I get asked, probably the most frequent question I get asked is about gelling and why I put my soaps in the fridge. And I put my soaps in the fridge to try to prevent or limit gelling as much as I can. So, and it doesn't always work. I mean, like as you can see for this one, it has a partial gel. But that's a really mild partial gel. And after I cut them and they cure for a while, that difference in color will probably be very, very subtle. You probably won't even be able to see it unless you're specifically looking for it. So, okay. Here we go. It's cutting pretty nicely. A little bit crumbly there on the ends. Okay. Wow, look at that. That's pretty interesting. So, this is the indigo, this sort of very blue. Then this paler blue is Woad. And this sort of grayish color is Ratanjot. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Ratanjot. But that looks pretty cool, I'd say. And this yellow that's in here from the turmeric is still has more of that orangey quality to it. You can see right there. So I'm pretty sure this will change to much more of that sort of pale yellow you can see down here. So the pale yellow should be throughout. I'm wondering if this indigo will change a little bit also. and become, you can see here, like, I think this is probably from the partial gel, where I have sort of a very dark blue and then a sort of medium dark blue. And I think that's because of the gel. So they came out, the swirls came out pretty nice. Ooh, that's nice, that one. Very pretty. I tell you, this has, I don't know, it has kind of an odd, it has an odd feel to it. I don't know if it's because it's, maybe it's just because it's really, it's a little bit more dry. I mean, when I took it out of the mold. But usually there's that, I don't know how to describe it, sort of that freshly unmolded soap feeling that's like a tiny bit wet. But I don't have that at all. It's just, it's very dry. Almost powdery feeling. I wonder if that's a little bit of the Fuller's Earth. Ooh, that's really nice. Okay. So looking good. Smells so good. Got a little bit heavier swirls down here toward this end, although this side I think looks very nice. The Ratanjot, you know, I was hoping it would be more red, and maybe I just needed to use more of it. It's sort of a gray color, although I think it still looks pretty in this mix here, but I was hoping to get a little bit of a, you know, kind of a highlight or a contrasting color since I have yellows and blues. I was hoping the red would sort of pick up more on the warmer side of things, but oh well, I still think it looks nice. So, all right, that is it. I still need a good soap, I mean a good name for this soap. I'm going to let the colors sort of play out and see where they end up. The fragrance, it's still very masculine. I think it's got a very strong citrus note to it, but I think it's got a lot of menthol-y kind of notes as well, both from the eucalyptus, I think, and from the lemongrass. They both have that menthol-y quality to them. So those are definitely, the menthol-iness is the very first thing that sort of hits you. And then it's got this citrus that's right behind it that's still pretty strong. And I'm actually not getting really the patchouli or the cedarwood quite as much now. I get a little bit of the peppermint I can smell, definitely. So lots of kind of bright notes. We'll see, because that citrusy, I think, is partly from the grapefruit. And grapefruit tends not to stick entirely as strong as, you know, when you pour it or when it first comes out. So I have a feeling this fragrance will change a little bit as well. And we'll see what the colors are. But I'm going to let them inspire me, hopefully, for a name. But if you have a good suggestion, I'd love to hear it. So that's it. Comments, questions below. If you like it, subscribe, and check back here at Divinely Designed for more soap videos. Thanks very much for watching.